talking a little high school basketball now as we bring on our next guest. Edmond Memorial guard Curran Scott joins the program. Curran, first off, thanks for taking some time this morning to talk a little bit about your recruitment as well as your high school career this morning.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Well, let's start with the high school career before we dive on into recruiting and your upcoming decision. How would you describe your high school career? You spent the first 3 seasons at Edmond Santa Fe. Then you transfer to Edmond Memorial, and you're a part of a team that makes it to the state tournament, 1 win shy of the state championship game. How would you describe your high school career?
I would like to think that it was a successful career. I enjoyed my time at Santa Fe. I had a great 3 years there, and I have a lot of respect for Coach Coward, and that was, one of the main reasons for me coming to Memorial. And, obviously we fell a little short in the end, but I felt like we made the most of a great season this year.
Now, let me ask you this. As Santa Fe made it to the championship game, did that feel a little bittersweet as much as you worked with that Santa Fe basketball team? Then you leave to go to Edmond Memorial, and then Santa Fe makes it to the state title game. Was that a little bittersweet for you?
I wouldn't say bittersweet. Santa Fe, they got hot late and made a great run, and I have a lot of respect for all those guys over there, and I was rooting for them just as much as I wanted us to win. But in the end, we both ended up losing to Mustang. So I'm just glad that we made it where we did, and we played them close all the way down to the end.
Mustang, definitely one of the better teams we've seen in a while, finishing the season
Definitely
undefeated. Let's talk about the season. I mentioned this to you, and I talked with you about it during the regular season as it happened. When you broke the single season scoring record, and then you were just able to just add on to it as the season went on into the playoffs, what does that mean to you now? I mean, I know I talked to you about it then, but now that you've had some time to really think about setting the single season record for most points, when you think about the guys who have been there just in the last 5 years alone, the Woodard brothers, Obi Emegano, Shaq Morris, Aaron Young, all playing at the Division I level right now, and you scored more points than all of them.
It's crazy to think that at the time I didn't think much about it. You're just playing basketball. You want to play well every game, but you're not thinking, end of the year I'm trying to break records. But if it happens, it happens. But like you said, all those guys that have come through Memorial, it's a great honor to be mentioned in the same breath with those guys. It's a great feeling.
Talking with Edmond Memorial guard Curran Scott here on the OK Preps Roundup. We mentioned it earlier this week that Scott had narrowed his choices down to Fresno State and Tulsa and was joining the program this morning to announce his commitment. He texted me last night, said he was not ready to make a decision at this time. So let me ask you this, because it's an interesting dynamic. You obviously had your sight set on 2 schools before last night. Did you come to a decision before that new opportunity that you were talking about to me last night? Did you make your decision before it came up?
Not really. I've been talking with those 2 programs throughout this whole process, and that's still 2 great options for me, and 2 that I'm still heavily considering. But I just want to take my time with the process, make sure that I make the right decision for myself and my family, and that's the biggest thing for me.
TU offered Curran earlier this week. He went on an unofficial visit to Tulsa this week, went on an official visit out to Fresno State a week ago or 2 weeks ago. How was the official visit to Fresno, and then we'll get into your unofficial to TU.
The official was to Fresno was a good experience. Getting out there, meeting the players, and I've got a great relationship with Coach Jones and Coach Terry at Fresno, and they recruited Aaron when I was a freshman, so we've just been building a relationship ever since then. And it was good to get out there and see Fresno and see their facilities, and it's a really great school and a great basketball program.
And for those who aren't familiar, who might be listening, he said they recruited Aaron. They signed Aaron Anderson out of Edmond Santa Fe during Curran Scott's freshman year. And I know that name might sound familiar to some people here in Tulsa because he is currently on the ORU basketball roster. So, Curran, down to Fresno and TU, you took an unofficial to Tulsa, but you've been very familiar with this program. So, what was the visit on Thursday like, knowing that you'd been there a couple of times? You're very familiar with the coaching staff. What was the dynamic like on Thursday when you took your unofficial to TU?
It was more of a, meet with the coaches, talk about, their plan for me, what they expect out of me coming in. And, like you said, I know the coaches really well and have continued to build a relationship since they got the job last year, and we've just been staying in constant communication ever since. So it was just them setting out their sights, their goals for me next year, and if I were to come into Tulsa.
When you think about your game as an individual and how you see yourself playing at the next level, obviously it's at the Division I level. How do you think your game is going to translate to the Division I level?
I think that you can always improve in every aspect of your game, but I think that I'm a bigger, stronger guard, and I can get where I want to on the floor. I obviously still have to keep developing, maturing, and advancing my game, but I think that I can make an impact, hopefully immediately, whenever I step on campus.
Well, Curran, we appreciate you coming on this morning. Congratulations on the season. Loved watching you play. And look, I've watched you since I think it was right after your freshman years when I first saw you. That the AAU session in between your freshman and sophomore seasons is when I first saw you. So enjoyed watching you mature, enjoyed watching you continue to develop and have the season that you had this year. And I'll tell you, I told you last night, it's an open invitation whenever you decide that you're ready to make that decision. It's an open invitation to come right back on the OK Preps Roundup, and we'll have a little announcement ceremony for you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me on today.
Absolutely. That's Curran Scott, Edmond Memorial guard. He has a decision on his hand. And look, he said out of respect for the colleges recruiting him, he didn't want to disclose the new opportunity that came up last night. And look, I'm not gonna bother him for that. It's not like,
sure.
Look, I have a job to do, man. I need to report this stuff. No, it's your future. It's your college future. I'm not gonna get in the middle of that.
It's recruiting. You can tell us what you want to tell us.
Yeah,
at some point we're gonna know where you're gonna go.
Yeah, you're going to have to eventually sign, and we'll all know. So if you want to announce it on the show, cool. Either way, we're going to have you on to talk about your future plans at college, whether it's at Fresno State, whether it's at TU, or whether it's wherever.